Hello, folks. We're back to it again. Just kind of getting ourselves underway a little bit here. And just kind of also making sure that everything's working on the stream here. I am setting things up today, so glad to have everybody get a chance to peek in with me here. I'm doing a lot of stuff at the moment. Kind of getting lots of things going. Mostly what I'm trying to do today is get my streams set up for the people that are in the guild. We have a whole bunch of new games in the guild right now, and I am trying to get things going for them. So we have Dynamite, who's kind of just recently joined and got their setup now. However, I want to see if I can get the other DM that we have coming in here soon, Dak, ready to go as well. And so yeah, just getting the things going. We'll pull up my Streamlabs so I can do all of the things the way I want to be doing all of the things. See all the chats and get involved the way I wish to be. And we'll pop this guy out here, see everything. There, now I feel better about life. And I think everybody else will too. Yeah, here we go. Let's go there. That's what I want to do. Cool. So, those of you joining me in here right now, feel free to jump into the chat. You may ask questions about how I do these things if you would like, and I'm quite happy to do the answers. I have no problems with doing so. We're going to look at, first of all, setting up the streams and how I do that and what that looks like, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, that is the target. That is how I be planning to do the things. And that's where we're at. So, let's dive in, I guess. Let's just do this. And the goal is today. Oops, that was the wrong button. The goal is to see if I can get all of the streams set up for Dak completely until we, of course, he hasn't had a chance to get all his characters in yet. They haven't had a chance to apply through Roll20 because we still have to pick a final date for the startup, but he's gonna start. On Wednesdays, relatively soonish. That's the target at any rate, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, and let's dive in. So I guess you could see this. Which way am I? That way. That's the way. You can see basically a couple of tools that I'm going to get set up here. First one is, of course, my OBS, which is all right in here. And what you're looking at right now is my OBS setup for the yawning portal. And diving in, let's actually just make sure that everything is working the way it is supposed to be, which I believe it is. It is. That's exciting. Okay, cool. So, in here you get to, I guess, first thing I'm going to do is I am going to throw up, I'm going to duplicate this. When I have things that work, I don't like messing with it, and so I'm just really just going to do a great big copy. And this is for a Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign that's going to be coming up here soon. Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Okay, cool. So, and then I'll switch over to it. Oh, I'm already on it. Beauty. All right, so here's what I got. So I've got basically, in order to do all of the streams that I have had to do some plugins first. And so the first plugin that I've got that was kind of important was a scene switcher. And actually, that might be the only plugin I have all the other DMs use is the scene switcher. So you can go to the OBS plugins and get those. But the scene switcher is super handy because then all you have to do is put in a whole bunch of sources someplace else. Where do I have? I have them in this other scenes just kind of set aside here. There's all of the advertisements, all of them. There's and I can, well, they're all. I should lock them all up, but I leave space for as many as 12 advertisements. And while we don't do 12 advertisements all the time, I put them into that source switcher. And so this is kind of what it looks like when we do that. Yeah, there we go. So I have a scene that is an intro screen. You could see it there, and now it's cycling through all of those advertisements, and it'll eventually go back to that intro screen, which looks like this right now, and that's of course going to change. So we'll go through that. You know what? if we're going to work our way down, may as well do this right now. So the first things first, we got to change that background because this is no longer a yawning portal thing. So I'm going to change the background that I have to a Ghost of Saltmarsh background. Let me find. Yeah, I've got all sorts of the things in here. Ghost of Saltmarsh. And, oh, I don't have the background, the image there. So let's go find it in a different folder. I know I have it somewhere. Ghost of Saltmarsh. This is a former version of the game we played. Here we go. This is the one I want. And I actually want that to be in the shared folder I have with all the other DMs too. So I'm just going to take it there, put it there, huzzah, paste, and then we'll use that image. And huzzah. Now that's a big image, and it's got the Wizards of the Coast copyright on it. I don't mind that too much, because of course if it is the right thing, you don't mess with it. So I'm going to unlock it though and make sure that it fits on the screen the way I want it to. Because right now, I don't think it really does. Yeah. There. That looks pretty okay right there, like so. Really good artwork, actually. I really appreciate a lot of the 5th edition artwork that Wizards of the Coast uses. Yeah, they got it going on. Okay, so that looks really nice. Doesn't mess up with any of the rest of the stuff. So let's go through all these other things I have here. First of all, it's not going to be Dynamite's logo for this game. We're going to rename this, and it's going to be Dak's logo instead. And Dak should already have a logo in my server somewhere. So let's go find it. Should be in the Ghost of Saltmarsh too. Oh, and it's not there. So maybe it's in here. Maybe I saved it someplace here. It doesn't look like it. So looks like Dak's logo is going to have to come later on. So we'll use that one in the meantime for Dak. Huzzah. Oh, yeah, of course. That's unfortunate, YouTube. Whatever. We'll get past that chat. Right? We don't need that up there. Whatever. It stays there. YouTube, I've been kind of tossing and turning about the idea of continuing on YouTube or just simply upstreaming. So I think the answer, right there is the answer. I'm going to stop doing things to YouTube here. And we'll just go and I'm actually going to go turn that off right now because it's obviously easy to bot. So let's get rid of that because I dislike it intensely. Let's turn you off, YouTube. So that's that, and we'll clean that up later. YouTube. Anyway, back to the task at hand. So I have the yellow thing here is just kind of quick little link saying here's how what you can do to join the group. And this is also an intro screen, so we're going to be on the air soon kind of thing. Keep my logo up there. Go to the game time. I actually have to go look for this. I'm sure, I am 100% certain that Dak has already given me something for a icon for him. But apparently I'm out to lunch, so I'll ask him to send me one later on. Unless he tunes in today. That'd be quite handy. Session title would probably be a Session 0, but it's not going to be the Yawning Portal. No, it's going to be Ghosts of Saltmarsh. That's the game that this one's going to be for us. Okay, so now we've got that title updated. Because I use that as a reference on every other page, it's going to stay on every other page, just like that. Kind of nice. That is super slow with that really bad camera that's on my laptop here, so whatever. Forgive the little itty-bitty face there. It looks much better on the actual stream, right? Yeah, okay. Moving on. So that was my intro screen. All of this stuff is set up except for Dak's logo, so that's on my to-do list of things I got to take care of. Now I'm going to go over to the back over here. I have background music that I've got licensed to that works really good for every campaign, and I really like it. So now I'm going to go over to what it looks like when we're going Theater of the Mind. I don't like to have a lot of stuff in here. Because I don't put the maps up because this is obviously when we're having role play or something to that, or just Session 0 kind of conversation or setup or whatever the case may be. So this is the screen that I would normally use for that. And so I have a whole bunch of stuff on here, and it's not necessarily in a very sensible order, but it's all here. And so the first one is this Discord overlay. So this is where I actually am going to pull out a new tab because I got to make sure I set this Discord overlay up properly. And so I'm just going to go to the Stream Kit overlay for Discord. And you just search that up, Discord Stream Kit. And then I'm installing this for OBS, and the way I'm doing it, I'm going to use, we use a voice widget. And the channel and the Discord server that this is going to be for is the Set Sail channel. Right there. Obviously really, really good there for the good name for the Ghost of Salt Marsh. It's currently behind a firewall, so I won't be able to connect completely, but I just don't care. We're going to do this, make the small avatars. I like having the names show up. And this is it. That's it. I'm just going to copy that lovely little beast and put it into the OBS. And that's in this Discord overlay settings, properties. And actually, I like to just kind of, I have a setup that I like here with all these fun little parameters, URL parameters already set in. So what I'm probably actually going to do is just take the channel codes into it. Discord refers to everything by way of like a 4,000 digit number for the channels. And so I'm just going to take those channels. There we go. Here we go. This is the ID for my server, and there's the ID for the channel. And get rid of that. I don't need it. I just need to copy that so I can put it into the link here. Let's go find all that stuff. Ooh, it's a long ways away. Big, long URL. Oh, that was ugly. That didn't work. Let's try that again. Oh, missed one. There we go. Got it. And of course, nobody's going to be in that channel right now, so nobody can see it. But I know because how I've set it up, it's going to appear. Oh, right there. Look at that. It's already showing up. How beautiful. And that's it. Now I'm off, and that's kind of where it goes. The kicker to this, though, of course, with that Discord overlay existing, there's a couple other little tricks that I do in there. So I do a little bit of editing to how it sits in there. If you go to the edit transformations in OBS, I actually didn't discover this thing existed for way too long. But it allows you to kind of make everything fit into a specific space. So if it ends up being something that would be super long, then it'll just squeeze it into that space if you use the bounding boxes and where you want to center it up in those bounding boxes. So I found the set a position, set the size for the bounding box, set the size for the original idea, but then the bounding box squeezes it to that size. And so that's what I've got all set up in there. And so I know it doesn't matter how long somebody's Discord nickname is going to be, it's going to fit into this little space on my stream right there, which is kind of nice. Because then I don't have to think about it. I can just let the stream do the work for me. Put my little Windy logo up there. Get Dax logo once I have that set up. I also have the Streamlabs on here, so it's kind of funny because it'll show up twice if we have anything come through the Streamlabs while we're here. I can actually hit the refresh button, make sure it actually works. And yeah, actually, you know what? Let's test drive that. I'm going to roll out something here real quick to see if that worked. And, oh, the bot isn't working. Well, it's a good thing I have it open. Yeah, let's turn it off and let it think for a little bit, and maybe we can get that bot working again because it's supposed to be. Alright. We'll try that again here in a second. In any case, so that's the Streamlabs. I also created this little thing here that all of my DMs can use to get involved a little bit more with the chatters. That's you guys. And now this obviously doesn't have the right DM's name in there, so we're going to go to set that up. But it's basically something that you can use a little keyboard shortcut to set up. DM DAC. There we go. And then that way people who are in the chat theoretically should be able to just simply throw out a roll20 and it should theoretically work. Let's see if that actually finally is going to work now, because Streamlabs sometimes likes to decide it's not going to do the things. There it is. That's the way it's supposed to work. And that is also supposed to send me some stuff. So we'll find out where that goes and how that goes just now. Put a little black background on it, but I have it faded, so I noticed some streamers don't like to let things... they just make a black box and then just put the stuff on top of it, but then all that beautiful artwork that they've already got on the back of their screen kind of gets lost, so I just do a little fade, and so there's a way you can do that by way of setting color. Notice that for many people who know hexadecimal, this is where you're going to be doing it, but you could set it there, but I have actually set it up in the... Oh, no, I didn't set it up in the filters. Where did I set that? Let's select a color. Oh, interesting. I don't remember how I faded that. Oh, that's all right. If it ain't... Oh, so if I go into the properties here, this is where I set it, apparently. Can you change your alpha channel? There we go. That's where it is. Weird that that doesn't show up in multiple places in OBS, but whatever. And so we get this lovely 196 thing here. That's normally, if it's 255, then it's going to make everything completely dark. We can actually show that real quick. It means that it's going to put all of the color on there, and now it's completely blacked out. You can see up there, but that's not really what I want. I kind of like to take, and I just go with some multiples of 12-ish that I kind of know work. And so now it's faded it out considerably so that all my text can be seen, but it doesn't completely blot out the beautiful artwork from Wizards. Yeah, so there's that. Alrighty, that gets me down now to the game titles, which I've already updated. I'm actually going to use my shortcut key. Oh, and to set up the shortcut keys, you go into the settings of your OBS, and really you can set up your shortcut keys for pretty close to anything. I'm just going to go to the hotkey section. There's all of these things that you can do, and so I'm going to find... There's one. There's the one I just did. I just set it so that if I hit Control-Shift-R, then it turns that group of things off, or turns it on again. So it says Show Chat Interact, Hide Chat Interact. All of those things are still shown there quite nicely. And so if I go Control-Shift-R, it disappears. Super easy to manage while I'm running a stream, and that's kind of the goal that I'm going for here. All right, so that's one. Where is that Streamlabs thing? Where should that appear? Yeah, perfect. That's exactly where I would want it to go. So now we're going to go on to the Roll20 20 and Roll20 chat and stats. So this is another one of the scene switchers that automatically rotate over things for me. And so we go into those, and here's what I've got. I've got it so that there's a scene called Roll20 Chat, and there's a scene called for each one of the players that are going to be in the game. So player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, player 5. So we may as well go take a quick peek at what those look like. And basically it switches between each one of these every... Oh, that means 10 seconds. So it's going to look at this for 10 seconds. And the reason... Oh, I should go back in there. The reason why I have so many of them is because I don't want them all to go 10 seconds. I want the chat to be up like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 seconds. But then each chat screen, or each of the player's stats, only show up for 10 seconds each. And that's why I have it set up that way. So... right now it's looking at a Roll20 screen, which doesn't make much sense right now until I actually pull it up. So let's go have a peek at what that looks like. It's pulling from the Roll20 chat, which is pulling from this lovely little tool called my Roll20 browser. And so this is what the Roll20 browser looks like right now. It's got that strange CSS thing in here. So I'm going to sign in to my Roll20. And... oh, I think I typed that funny. It's telling me I typed it funny. Oh, really hard to type it when it's that small, but whatever. Alright. And then I signed in. And now I should be able to get into my Ghost of Saltmarsh campaign right there really, really easily. And when I do that, now I'm done interacting with that, it should bring up the Roll20 chat window, which might not have a whole heck of a lot in it right now. And there's the map that it would bring up for me. It's showing a couple extra things here that I don't like to show on the map, so I'm going to edit this. This is one of those ones where I've actually used that transformation thing again. But this time it's not the bounding box I messed with, it's cropping it. So I'm going to crop this just a smidgen more. 5 more pixels that way. Actually, it looks like it's somehow gotten a lot smaller, so what I really need to do is actually change its size. So let's do that instead. Let's get this Roll20 browser unlocked, and let's change its size. Let's get it to be, and I want to do it proportionally, so I'm just going to stretch from the corner to get to the point where I no longer have that pause, the zoom buttons that appear there. There we go. Let's try that. So let's get rid of, if I do it there, that should about get rid of the zoom buttons. Yep, that did it. And so now I'm going to go back into that transformation. And let's pull in that stuff from the right here a little bit. Squeeze it in, squeeze it in, squeeze it in, squeeze it in. There's the edge. Okay, that might have been one too far. So I'm just going to go there. And then the bottom is going to come up a bunch as well. Try to get it to fit. And the reason I try to get it to fit in there is sometimes Roll20 or OBS likes to just like make things spill off the edges of the screen when you set them up into other scenes. So like this Roll20 map scene is actually in this no, sorry, not in that scene. It's in this scene as well. And if I don't lay it up quite nicely, it kind of makes this weird little spill out on the edges there. So that's why I've done that. But now my roll chat there. Oh, and there's the Roll20 chat right there, appearing exactly as it should based off of what we see here. So I've stretched that out, and anytime I need to log in, I can just use that interact button, and away it goes. It looks beautiful. And then so whenever somebody rolls in there, it should look perfectly fine. I've also put in here, and then I guess those stats. So let's go to those stat screens. So this is what the stat screens look like. And I don't have any players for these yet, so I'm not going to get a chance to update any of these right now. But I am most definitely going to be able to do, like I could change these anytime I want. I can say the player 1's HP. I've got all of these as texts, so it's just easy to go. So I could change this text to say the maximum HP for this character is actually, I don't know, 9. And it automatically changes it for me. I've locked it so I can't accidentally drag it out of place. And then I'm also going to change the token here too. This token would be the picture for one of the characters. So let's just pretend that it's this character here instead. And it just makes it nice here. But it doesn't only just make it nice there. It also changes that character's token up here on my other screen too, because I have pulled in this section here, I've got some other scenes set up too. They are all these players scenes. So all of these player scenes I can mess around with if I want, make them look pretty, and then I set them up in here. Now I didn't have to set them up as a scene. I could have set them up as a group instead. But if I set them up as a group, I find for me that it's tough to see all of the sources that are in here. Like already, this feels like it's a lot of sources for me. And so I might even group a couple of these up a little bit better, make it look a little bit different too. But each one of these players I can go ahead and adjust. And of course, the characters themselves, or like the players' names are one. So if I go back over here, our player's name and then our character's name. Easy to change just by going into these texts and updating them however I want to. And then, so all my players are set up, my game titles are set up, my chat interact thing works, my Roll20 chat and stats are working. Now I have these rolling announcements. And so these announcements right here at the bottom, which you can also see on the main stream right now, they are the exact same announcements actually. So just like right down there, if you look at that rolling announcements, I have that in a text file elsewhere. So it's just inside my my shared folder that I have with all my other DMs. And that's not my shared folder. Let's go to my shared folder, shall we? Shared folder. So many files on this computer. But inside here, I have like a streaming announcements file. So that's this guy right here. And so these are all the announcements that show up in the stream right now. But yeah, right there, all the streams that are showing up in there right now. But I don't want them, like, I want them to just kind of scroll through, because otherwise they'll take up the whole screen and nobody wants to read that much stuff. So If people want to read it, they can see those announcements. And so here's the properties. Here's how I got it going. First of all, I have it set calling from a text file. And so I can just pick whatever text file I want, set the font that I want it to be at, blah, 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 blah. But then after that, I also go into its filters. And there's actually a scroll filter possible in here for all texts. So you can switch this to scroll. You can switch to scaling or scale to sound. Actually, the scale to sound is, I love the scale to sound thing. The scale to sound thing is, it's a plugin that you can get for OBS, and it makes all the icons bump. And so I'll show you how I've set those up here too, because I do have that set up. So you can do that, particularly for the DM if you wanted to. So, but I'll show that in a bit. In any case, I put the scroll in there and I changed some of the settings to get it to move at exactly the speed I want. So I can get a lot of announcements in a very tiny space. Then I have my DM video, which of course I set it up for me, but then I send this package off to the other DMs and they have to reset a few things. So, but if I go to that DM video screen, I have, there we go. We got to change that right now. The logo is correct, but well, sort of correct. It's what I've got set up for DAC right now. And the DM character name is Dungeon Master. The DMs could always change that. If they felt like they're doing the Curse of Strahd campaign and they really, really want to say that they are acting Strahd, they can totally do that. But the player name, this is going to be Absalom DAC. This is for you, DAC. That's what this one's for. I also have a couple other things I like to put in here. This little nat 20 video is fun. Anytime somebody rolls a natural 20, I like to kind of like big things. So I have another key combination, kind of like I set up last time. This one's set to an N to play this. Makes noise. Kind of reward them for that wonderful roll. And I just put it right onto my DM screen because it's kind of where I like to put it. And then if as a DM or as guild we have inspiration things happening, then we like to do this. I don't really do this for bardic inspiration. I just do it for DM or guild inspiration instead. And I'm about to, actually I just downloaded another one. I'm curious to see how well it works. So we may as well add this in. So this is a media source, and this is going to be the level up video. I have no idea how this is going to look and sound, so we're going to have to see how this goes, because I just tried making one. I don't want it to restart. I do want it to show nothing when it's done, because if it doesn't show nothing, then it's going to sit there on that video and you're never going to see the DM's face anymore. And I don't want it to loop. I want it to restart when I tell it to restart. So I'm gonna go browse. Let's find this lovely video that I've just created. It's this level up video. Let's see how well it goes. And now I'm gonna go, there it is. Now you'll notice it kind of went over top of all my things. Not really what I want it to do. So I'm gonna get it underneath everything else as well, so that when it happens again, it happens the way I mean for it. And now I'm gonna set up that hotkey combo. Come on, hotkey combo. I think this one will set up to be an L. Let's see if I can find those other ones. That's the roll thing again. There's inspiration. Here's the level up. So I'm going to have a restart using that. Is that the one I used? Yeah, restart it. Starts with that L, and then the natural 20 is set up like that too. So theoretically, when I go Control Shift L, what does that sound like? I don't even know what that sounds like. I have to take my headphones off. Let's find that out. Here we go. Oh, it's not even playing it out my speakers right now. Why is it not playing out those speakers right now? Should be playing it out those speakers. Maybe I have it set to go some other place right now. That's fine. I'll just have to listen to it later. It's obvious here, though, that the inspiration in the Nat 20 videos were really loud, so probably my level up video was too, so I'll bring that down by 20 decibels. There we go. Alright, now we got something else. And then they can set up, when they get this package, they'll be able to set up their webcam to their own settings. And that'll be straightforward and simple, I should think. And there we go. And that full background is still there, which is nice. Oh, that full background is too big, though. I can't see that sailing ship. And I dislike that. I want that sailing ship in there. Don't I? Or what have I got going on here? Like, where's my ship? Oh, I've got it flipped. Look at that. I got this one flipped. All right, well, let's unflip it, shall we? Let's get that sailing ship in there. All right, that is transforming it by flipping it horizontally. There's that ship. That's the stuff. That looks much better. Get that artwork the kudos that it deserves. Yeah. All right, so there's that. All right, so now the next thing's up. Our next thing up is, let's do, oh, and then the audio group. So this is just, the way I've got it set up for my DMs is I've got it set up so that I make sure that this picks up what they have going into their headphones. They have to make sure they set that properly in Discord first, though, so that when they're talking in Discord to whoever it is that they're playing with, they have to go into their Discord, set it up so that all of their audio comes out to the headphones, and then they tell OBS pick them up from that headphones. And then the microphone picks up from whatever source they want their microphone to be, probably headphones usually. I'm using, of course, a little microphone here instead, but it's right now I have it coming in from my laptop microphone into this OBS and into my streaming OBS, which is over here. I'm actually using a much nicer microphone for that, so, and I've got filters on it to try to make my voice sound more, well, whatever. Whatever. Okay, so there, that's that whole scene taken care of. And this scene is much of the same stuff. I just copied in the players from the previous scene. So all that information is still exactly the same. That's these things here. My Discord overlay is copied in too, so is my Streamlabs. My chat interact is currently turned off unless I use the key combination to turn it on again. Ooh, I don't like how that looks. I really dislike how that looks. So I'm going to move that. I'm glad I checked that out because that's ugly. That's not the purdies. So where's my Streamlabs? Oh, my Streamlabs is in the same place too. That's going to look ugly too. So I feel like what I really ought to do is let's change something about that. I don't know. Let's just make it smaller. That's really, really small though. Wonder if what I should do, because of course this space down here is for my Discord, right? So, and then Dax logo is going to be, that's not going to be Dax logo. But we'll get things sorted out there anyway. I guess. Well, Dax logo is already in here. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to show you guys. Let's do that real quick. Back over to the DM video. If I take Dax logo, and this is that OBS plugin I was talking about. If I go in here and go into the filters, there's an OBS plugin for scale to sound. So this lovely little scale to sound filter, I can set this to match the microphone that the DM is using. And now, every time the DM talks, that's going to shake at me, right? Now, I don't want it to shake it. I want it to shake a little bit bigger. But I also want it to be not so, I don't know, epileptic. So I'm smoothing it out to like a 0.5. So it doesn't seem quite so in your face. And so there. Now that logo is going to jump it up and down alongside the voice of Dak. Works great. I like that scale to sound thing. Simple. It's not a VTuber kind of demonstration, but again, it's something. It's something to make sure that everybody knows that the DM's talking when they're talking. Otherwise, of course, the Discord thing is going to say it too. So really, the DM doesn't need it, but it's fun. So why not, right? All right. Welcome to the chat. I'm just kind of showing through how I'm setting up my my stream sessions. You know what? That's not a bad size. When that gets blown up onto somebody's screen, that's big enough. People can read that. And I think the same thing could probably go for my Streamlabs. So I'm going to set my sizing. I'm using the transform thing here to see what my size is and position. So 664153. I'm going to do the same thing for my Streamlabs. 664153. And that will put my Streamlabs where I actually want it to be. But now I got to make sure they match size. 373210. So here we go. 373 and 210. So when the Streamlabs stuff happens, it fits nicely on that part of the screen without blocking everything else out and seeming... And it'll also look quite nice too. Like, we could actually test that out here real quick. Make sure that's actually going to work. Go to my alert box thingy here. Let's throw out a tested follow or something along those lines. So it should look right there. Oh, it's ugly when that other... There we go. That looks a little bit better. See? That's the way it should go. Oh, I have two of them. How marvelous. I only need that top one, so let's get rid of that. Huzzah. I am sure I want to get rid of that one. There we go. That's cool. And now that'll be there. Huzzah. And roll 20 chats and stats. You can see the stats are now kind of rolling through here for these characters that are eventually going to show up. My announcements are rolling. My title is there, and they're centered to each other instead this time. It's just a different group, but it still has the same sources inside it, just like that. And I have my DM video. I now have that Roll20 map that you guys saw. This is the... Let's bring that guy all the way down here. Roll20 display. So that's what the Roll20 normally looks like from the OBS browser source. But then I resized it for both the map only and also for just the chat only. And so that's why it looks like that when it shows up on the screen during the stream. Yay! Intermission, again, another little rollover thingy for that. Ooh, look! It's Dak's logo is still bumping up and down like I'm talking, which is fine by me. I don't mind that, because I put that filter on there. That's kind of fun. And then, of course, I like to give credits. Ooh. Ew. That doesn't look all that good on that screen, does it? Maybe we should do some adjustments on this one for this particular game, because of where all the interesting stuff is on this picture. So I'm gonna take the credits, and just because I know that if I don't group them together, it's gonna be too much of a pain in the butt to move them around. I'll group them together, and I'm gonna drag my credits up here to a much nicer place for them to sit. Nope, no. Find that. Click on that. There we go. And because, of course, you can't, if it's not yours, you really ought not to be claiming ownership over things, right? So I'm getting, yeah. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. I just wanted to ungroup them. There we go. Ungroup. Huzzah. And now I'll pull those links instead, which are currently locked in place, and I don't want them to be. About us. Okay, everything else is locked, but I don't want the links locked, so I'm now moving them down here. And I think I'll probably change the order of those guys too, because I feel like it'll look better if I do. So let's do that. Let's go into the text on this guy. There's the SoMe text, and I'm gonna move these guys around. Oh, what? Oh, that's because I have the website up high and then I have the other ones down low. That makes sense. Let's do this. So the properties, okay, we're going to pull the longer stuff down low. This is just trying to feng shui my stream just a little bit. Okay, and now I got to change those logos around, so I'm going to move... actually, the other two logos are fine, so I'm going to switch the Discord logo is going to go where the Twitter logo was, so... I'll use the transform thing to find it. So currently my Discord logo is at that location. I want it at, I'm going to have to remember that, 482.53. So let's do that. We'll go 482.53 and we'll put Twitch there first. Actually, hang on. What do I want to do? I want to put my Discord logo where the Twitter thing is. So Twitter is at 153. Okay, so they just basically went up by 50. That's cool. Okay, so cool. All right, so we got 482. Let's move you down to 153 instead. And then let's move Twitch up to 53. And then let's move Twitter up to 103. Aha. I like to try to make everything exactly the same number of pixels away from each other, so it's super easy for me to kind of fix things like that if I need to. And now that I've got that, that's grand. Problem is now that my website is in a really weird location too, so I'm going to bring him to, let's see here, 153. This is going to be like, I don't know, 153, 181. Sure. Nope, that's not what I typed. Let's try this again. 181. Why is it doing that? I'm not typing those numbers. That is so weird. 181. Positioning is going wonky. Okay, fine. I'm gonna do this like so. Oh, I see. Because as soon as you move it off the top, everything gets weird, right? Alright, let's see if that does the trick now. Nope. Still didn't like that. Ugh. Fine. And it's only because it's in a group that it's being weird like this. So it's trying to figure out the right position in relationship to the group, not to the whole stream. And so it's having its own little miniature conniption. And so drag it all the way down. And I said I wanted to go 181, right? That's probably going to be too far. But let's see what happens. Okay, now I got to take this whole thing and bring them up to where I want them. Actually, that wasn't far off from where I want it. But see there, now I'm not overlapping. Now I don't have text going over that boat. Looks much nicer. Much, 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 much nicer. I am going to bring that website up just a little bit more. There. That looks pretty good, actually. Let's run with that. That's better. There. Huzzah. If you have questions about how I set up my streams, of course, you can throw them out in the chat. I don't mind. I also appreciate the lurks. Okay, so there's my outro. My links are now set up. The credits now have to be changed, so let's do that. The credits are just in here. It's a part of a short... It's great... Ghost of Saltmarsh is kind of short adventure series, but it's not really like Tales from the Yawning Portal or Dragon's Eye Spire Peak or Lost Mines of Fountain Delver kind of modular. There's a bit of modularity to it, but it's a little bit more part of an Dungeons and Dragons Greyhawk adventure, published originally by Wizards of the Coast. It's created, and all the other stuff is still the same. Huzzah. Okay, and then we can do the same thing here for this section, which is the that's not the About Us. What is that? That is the where is it? Maybe it is About Us. Sure, it's the About Us. Yep, totally it is. Is a Greyhawk adventure published by Wizards of the Coast, made available through purchase on Roll20, and there you go. Which is kind of interesting because most of the stuff that we have available to us can easily be moved into any of the other realms. So, for example, Ghost of Saltmarsh doesn't have to have Saltmarsh set in Greyhawk, although that's where it was originally created. It can be ported easily into Faerun or many other people's homebrew campaigns locations as well. Dak just wants to play it in Greyhawk, and I'm not going to hold them against that because Greyhawk's a fun setting. Maybe not as easy to get to some of the lore that exists for it. Like Faerun and the Forgotten Realms, there's a whole wiki for them. But Greyhawk, there's not as much stuff out there for it. But Ghost of Saltmarsh is a great campaign, and especially for those who just want to, go full on pirate mode. It's pretty good that way. So, okay, now we've got that all set up. that is now pretty much everything set in here. Ooh, there is one thing I want to double check, and that's where I put my supporter credits. So this is what happens when I get, say, to the end of a campaign or end of a show, and I want to make sure I say thanks to all the people who are following and supporting and such. I'm going to throw up a fake one right now, or maybe this is actually going to look real. Sure, let's roll these credits, and then we'll move them around to where they're supposed to go. So I'm rolling those credits. There they go. And I don't like where that's located, so let's move you down. Actually, I wonder. That's not a bad location-ish. Let's put it right here. Why not? Sure. That's a great location for it, actually. I really like that spot. Huzzah. I like those credits. Cool, cool. So there's that set up now. Now, when it comes to me exporting all these things for for other players to use, I'm going to make sure I get my video here. Copy. Where's the copy? There we go. Copy. There we go. And paste. There we go. So when it comes time to getting my Dak, when I let him export, I'm going to export all this for him, and then all he's going to need to do is import it into his own OBS, and away it goes. I made this extra little scene that just has the main important salient things that he needs to make sure his computer is linked to. And so that's the all sources for editing thing. So he's going to need to link his webcam, not my webcam, to it. He's going to need to link his headphones and his microphone to it. And then once he's done that, for the most part, because of how I've got all these other scenes already set up, he should be able to just stream right like that. That's kind of the goal. And so now I'm going to go into this lovely long document that I have here for him and basically make it purdy. And so I'm going to, first of all, make sure I save this to the right folder. I don't like overwriting stuff that I've done for other people. Save this, because I've already done basically all this exact same stuff for Dynamite. Now I'm going to do it for Dak. And this is for Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I guess what I could do now, because I have this pretty much set up and ready to go, let me just double check everything one more time. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Of course, the characters are wrong, but we don't have the characters picked yet for it. That looks good. That looks good with the credits now, too. And this is where he's going to edit the things. Here's the video scene. All of these are the other scenes that show up elsewhere, including this thing and the break screen, which actually shows up in the intermission. This is all of those little bars that show across the top of the screens. Here's all the advertisements for the screen switchers. Here's where I can actually see what the whole the whole Roll20 thingy looks like, and what it looks like as a map only and on the chat screen only. And again, of course, I can simply, if I wanted to, I can actually interact directly with it. So if I'm looking at the map here, then I can go to if I'm in studio mode where I have both windows up like that, then I can actually pull up in my preview the Roll20 browser and interact with it and move it around to make sure it looks the way I want it to, just like that. Which is kind of nice. I think I want it to be sitting here. I actually want it to be smaller. There we go. That's there. That looks a little bit better. On the stream, yeah, that looks good. So I have all of those things. It looks like everything's set up on the OBS, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to export it. And there's an import function that Dak's going to need to do, and that's that. Export it. I have everybody sharing a Google Drive folder together, and so when I export it, it's automatically uploaded to the other people, which is kind of nice. So Ghost of Saltmarsh. There's the export for the OBS setup. I already have a setup or export for the streaming components as well, which is nice. Huzzah! Yeah, there's all that. There's all that. And now I'm going to update the information guide because I make a guide for people because some people have never done streaming. That's kind of the point of the guild, right? We want people to learn how to stream, learn how to DM. Sometimes we get them a chance to work with new players. And if we do all of those things properly, then more people playing D&D is never a bad thing because D&D is, it's just awesome. It's an escape. It's just wonderful for creativity, for an outlet, and for storytelling, collaborative storytelling, which is even better yet. Because let's be real, most of us don't know how to write, which is why we don't. But if we work with others, we can come up with some really fun stuff to do. So D&D is awesome, and any way we can get more people involved in it is never a bad thing. Okay, so the device requirements are all the same. Set up my Google Drive folder so it's nice and easy. And now tell them how to set up their basic OBS. So they have to install OBS, install that source switcher plugin. I suppose if I'm going to do this right, I did not tell them that they need to have that scale to sound feature. So I'm going to pull that. I'm going to get rid of studio mode. I'm going to pull that scale to sound feature off of this so that they don't absolutely need it. That was where this little icon bumps up and down. So I'm going to get rid of that. It's cool. Oops, no, wrong one. I got to click on the icon. Logo, there it is. It's cool that it works, but it means that I would have to make them install another plugin. Now, Dak, if you watch this and you're like, I want that, that's fine. I don't mind. You just tell me. I'll make the things happen. No problems. Okay, so that's good. There's the login for the restream. I should kind of screen past that real quick. I have some fonts that I asked them to install. Yep. Oh, I tell them there is a folder called that. That's what they can bring in their settings for OBS. Then they import the content, and they find, and there's a process for what happens when they import content. It'll ask them, so where's all your files? And because they're sharing the Google Drive, should be straightforward and easy. Matching your computer to stream, step-by-step process on that, and an onboard webcam. Setting that up and putting that in there. Go to the DM screen, video screen. We also have, of course, on the Discord, I have access to a music bot so they can play their own music. I also tell them this is why your tokens need to be a certain size so that they don't blow up. This token here is obviously the wrong size right now. It's because it's spilling off the edge, and it's just not pretty. So we make everybody use the same size of tokens to try to make for some continuity. And that gets tricky because, of course, when you create a character, some people like to have those images as a really important feature of what they do. And the problem with that, though, is that if they get really creative with how they make their characters look, because that's what they really want to do, the challenge becomes making sure that stays standard for the stream and looks good and doesn't have one person's bigger than everybody else's. Thankfully I've got a bit of a graphic design background, so I can do that, but it's a pain in the butt, let's be real. So anyway, kind of go through a list of all the scenes, just kind of like I just did with this stream today. Tell everybody what to do, and then all of the cool tools. Ooh, I get to add the new one. I forgot, I got to add a new tool in here. Chatters can roll. Let's go with the this is another stinger that I just created, right, guys? So this is let's get the right style on this. This should be I think it's that one, isn't it? Nope, it's not that one. What style are you? You are you're heading 4. Okay, fine. So let's make you a heading 4 then too. Heading for what? Heading for typing more things. This is level up stinger. It's a control, because I just made this, right? So I gotta let everybody know it exists, and that who is going to be using this setup. Like the other 2 stingers, you can also celebrate when your characters level up. In the same scenes as before, use the shortcut key combinations, CTRL and Shift L to display a short 3-second level up stinger. There, and that's it. That's updated now. Problem is now, I'm gonna have to update that contents page, I guess, because everything got bumped. That's okay. All of these look good. So anyway, so back over here, all of the different in-stream chat commands that you're supposed to be able to do, which I actually have to fix one of those. So I'll have to go back in there and do that. I have a command that has not been working, and it has been doing the irritations. So let's see why it has not been working. Let's see if it will now, actually. Roll call. Let's try that. There we go. That's what it's supposed to say. That's what I want it to do. And that time it did. Interesting, however, how my Streamlabs aren't working the way they're supposed to. That's better. But nonetheless, we put those commands in there to try and make it so that players can actually get involved in the game. Or like players, chatters. Chatters can get involved in the game. So if you're in the chat, I can ask you, or any of the DMs can ask you, to roll for the DM instead of the DM doing the rolling. That's the plan anyway. Yeah. So that brings us now to, and then there's the dash, the ready, unlurk, those kinds of things. Other scenes that exist that you'll probably never touch. What you need to do when people level up. How to set up your stream with Restream, because we use Restream for pretty close to everything to make sure that we can get it to Twitch or YouTube, although I must admit, not happy with how YouTube worked, especially with these weird chat things that come through. You guys can see there. It's ugly. And this is the other key component. Like, we stream, but streaming's the bonus. If we're playing a game, we just want to play. If it happens to be that the technology is going to be like, nah, then I tell people, okay, fine, we're obviously not supposed to stream today. We're just supposed to play, and that's it. And that's... it's tough, unfortunately. Most of the time we don't have issues with it because of how well this is set up, but at the same time, if funkiness happens, we need to let people know it's okay for you to not stream. All right, looks to me like most of that's done, so I'm just going to do a quick look to make sure. Oop, wrong window. This window over here. One quick look here to make sure that I'm not missing any yawning portal stuff. So let's look. And it looks like it's not. I know that there's supposed to be a place where I tell them what file to use. Probably way up here. A JSON file. Importing content. There it is. Yeah. This shouldn't say the yawning portal. It should say Ghosts of Saltmarsh. There we go. And just like that, Dak, your setup is ready to go. So that's pretty much what I was going to get to today. Looks to me like it's kind of a quiet day out there in Twitchland, and that's okay. Not every stream is going to be full, and sometimes I pick the wrong times, and that's just all there is to it. That's okay. Thursdays apparently at 7:30 p.m. in London. Nobody's on Twitch. That's okay. Anywho, I think that's where I'm going to call our quits for the time being, until we can get all the other things going. So, you know, for the people who are in the chat right now, unless actually, if you're in the chat and you want to help me with some world building, I'm okay with that. You just let me know. But that's kind of where I feel like we're going to be for the day today. And the other thing I'm going to see about possibly doing somewhere along the way is setting up interviews with some of the other DMs so we can actually do proper introductions and hellos and so on and so forth too. So we'll see how that goes. We'll put that out into the Discord, and yeah, otherwise that's it. So I'm going to turn all of the things to thank you for the, you know, the participation and such. I'm going to move oh, I have to do one little adjustment here first before I decide that I'm just like how I think I'll set everything up. There we go. Yeah, that looks much nicer. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you guys for lurking with me. Maybe we'll go and lurk somebody else for a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Peace out.